My name is Alex Brown, and I serve the fraternity as the Director of Education and Leadership Programs. I'm very excited to be joined today by Tawny, who works for Firsthand, who is our partner in the Delta Chi Mentorship Network, which we'll get to in a moment. But we're going to start today by talking about the role of mentoring in the fraternity. I think for many of us, we can think of an individual who really showed us what it meant to be a Delta Chi or how to be a leader. And that maybe came in the form of a big brother, your associate member counselor, just somebody else that a chapter advisor, somebody that you looked up to in the organization. And Delta Chi in itself is an organization that really is built on relationships. It's in our preamble, in our values, we talk about promoting friendship. We talk about this organization and the experiences and the bonds that our members share as the brotherhood of a lifetime. And in the ever famous quote, Delta Chi was my first love and it shall be my last. And so we all recognize the value and the power of relationships and what that plays in the fraternity. And at the same time, how do we really understand what that means, right? And I think it's a very easy thing that we talk about all the time. You probably heard that pitch when you were asked to join. I know I was, when I was told about the great network that you're joining and the connection to Delta Chi's across the world, which is true, but I was joining a chapter at South Dakota State who had just received their charter and had 0 alumni. So what does the benefit of this great and vast, powerful Delta Chi network mean to me, who has never met another Delta Chi in my life, where I don't think there was a Delta Chi within 100 miles at that time? So how do we really talk about the benefits of mentorship without understanding the role that it can play? And I will be completely honest in my bias. Mentoring has always been really important to me. It was something that I felt shaped my direction, shaped who I am. And I owe those relationships to Delta Chi, because those mentoring relationships were things that I found within the fraternity. And again, for most people on this call, you probably know the benefits, but I think it's important that we understand that mentoring offers a lot, both for the individual as well as from an organizational perspective. For folks who are engaged in this process, mentoring offers increased confidence. It can allow you to understand that you may be more powerful or more influential, or have a skill set that you didn't know you had. But when you have somebody who is investing in you and investing in your growth, it can increase your confidence in your performance in a variety of ways. A mentor can help identify career goals and shape an idea that you may have into a path that you can follow for the rest of your life, to help you identify what it is you're truly passionate about and how you can leverage that into a career and meaningful engagement and work. It encourages professional development. It's an opportunity both for somebody who is being mentored to grow as a professional, but it's also a chance for a mentor to hone their skills in coaching and being able to bring out the best in someone. We certainly know that can be a tremendous tool in any business, corporation, nonprofit. Anytime you're working with people, the chance to enhance and grow the talent that you have is a tremendous value for that organization. It broadens your perspective on career opportunities. I'll be honest, I graduated from a high school. My graduating class was 14 people. I knew I was going to college because that's what I was supposed to do. Beyond that, I was clueless. And so being able to have a mentor to help me figure out what it is I wanted to do, or what those options were to me, when what I saw around me was very limited, was tremendous importance. It allows the chance to improve your communication skills and expand your overall skill set. When you have those positive mentoring relationships, it gives you a real world opportunity to enhance those opportunities for engagement, for communication, and taking something that you maybe feel a little bit confident with into a whole new realm of expertise and deliverables. And we're really, I think, very fortunate in the fraternity to offer a variety of natural mentoring connections. The big brother, little brother relationship is something that immediately pops into, I think, most of our members' minds. I can still remember very vividly the first conversation I had with my big brother, an individual who continues to influence and shape how I view leadership, how I engage with the world, how I'm engaged as a citizen. I owe to that individual and his investment in me as a person. Um, we also have a natural system with executive board memberships. Those are often some of the most visible members of our collegiate experience. They're individuals that many of our members may look up to or strive to be like. They may have a working relationship with them. If I'm a committee chair, I may have a direct relationship with an executive board member. And so those natural mentoring relationships can occur. Obviously, our alumni are another great source of mentors for our members. That ability to connect with somebody who has literally been there before you, who has had those similar experiences, who may be in the career that we want to achieve, or has, somebody we look up to. And so it is natural for our collegiate members to immediately see our alumni as a source of inspiration and mentoring that they can tap into. And then additionally, our volunteers. A lot of times those are Delta Chi members, whether that is the BB or somebody who's serving as an ABT president or ABT service chair, whatever it might be, somebody who's connected to the housing corporation. Those individuals are natural sources of mentorship as well. Faculty advisors, non-Delta Chi's who serve at our programs, or who also are part of our ABTs or other volunteer roles. But it's natural for us to look to those pieces as individuals who can help us see potential in ourselves, or who can help us reach levels that we didn't think possible. And so while it's great that these natural relationships exist, it doesn't mean that they occur. And I think that is something that we as an organization need to be very mindful of, is that as we look to promote a culture of mentoring and a culture of investment in our brothers and our members, what does that mean to really foster those relationships? How do we get past some of the envy that might exist in a peer mentoring relationship? How do we bridge the gap of distance when we've got alumni who have the time and talent that they want to share, but maybe don't feel that they're connected or close enough to an organization, or are not near their own alma mater? How do we find those opportunities for individuals to connect and give back? I think it's also important that our members understand that mentoring benefits us in a variety of ways. I think it's easy for us to immediately think about the individual perspective, which is great. Obviously, if you are engaging and taking the time to be in a mentoring relationship, those individual relationships are incredibly important. We want to promote the fact that if you engage in mentoring activities, you can be a better leader. You can be a better citizen or committee chair or whatever it is that you're interested in. But there is a lot of organizational benefits that our members may overlook. Certainly, it is a chance for leadership development opportunities. We have those naturally occurring positions that are in the fraternity, which are great, but I think we can all attest, whether that is somebody we've worked with or having seen a fellow Delta Chi who was in a role, doesn't necessarily make them a leader. And just because somebody doesn't have a title or a position doesn't mean that they can't exhibit leadership skills and qualities. And so promoting a culture of mentoring allows us to promote leadership within our organizations. I think we all can agree that that is something that our chapters all strive for. I think we want to be known as leadership organizations. People are looking for those leadership opportunities, and mentoring is a fantastic way to provide them. They enhance operational performance. As organizations experience turnover on a yearly basis, mentoring is something that can close that information gap. I'm guessing folks have maybe familiar with the binder relay, where there's a new executive board and the D hands over his information and just says, here you go. That's not a transition. That's not true organizational support from semester to semester. If you have those naturally occurring mentoring relationships, if you promote that culture within your organization, you can promote strong transitions. You can help your organization succeed from semester to semester and year to year, officer to officer. It's not then about who is in a position, but the expectations around performing in that position that is beneficial. In this time, we're also very mindful about What does recruitment look like? As I mentioned, we probably all have heard that line of, you're joining this great and vast Delta Chi network. That's true, but if you can't make that real for a recruit, it doesn't mean anything. If you can back it up and say, here is how we support you, here's how you can connect and engage with alumni from across the globe. Now it's not just something you've told me, it's something you can back up. And that means everything else that you've told me, I can take a little bit more seriously. And so this is certainly a tool. And again, when we talk about the Delta Chi Mentorship Network in a few moments, I think this is a really tangible thing that we can promote with our members. It's going to promote and set them apart from other organizations on campus. It's definitely a retention tool. When we think about the loss of knowledge, when we have juniors and seniors who start to drift away from our organizations because they're not being challenged, they're not finding value in the experience anymore, this is a great way to bring them back in, to highlight the value of staying involved in the fraternity and keeping connected to a much larger organization and what Delta Chi can offer. It's also an opportunity for alumni engagement. My first job took me to New Hampshire, halfway across the country. I'll be honest, one of the first things I did was look for the nearest Delta Chi group, and thankfully there was a new group starting, a restart at Massachusetts, which was about 45 minutes away. Great, I could make that happen. But I was half the country away from my chapter, from the members I connected with. And if it wasn't for a colony that had started out, I'd be out of luck. There are countless members who have moved away from their alma mater for the group that they were close with and don't know how they can stay connected and engaged. Mentoring is a great way to do that. The Delta Chi Mentorship Network allows our members to stay invested and connected in ways that's never been able to before. And again, is certainly a great tool for NEE and for any of our organizations to promote alumni engagement beyond just serving as a BB, an ABT, a Housing Corps member. This is true alumni and engagement in a way that most of our groups haven't thought of before. Again, it's a new way to improve their communication and engagement with alumni. It's a true way to expand your resources. And I'll save this for our walkthrough of the mentorship network itself, but there's a lot of great tools that exist there, including fantastic resources that are available to any user of our platform, as well as a job and internship board. So if folks are looking for that next opportunity, they can use the Delta Chi Mentorship Network to find it. For our existing alumni, it's a way to promote internships and jobs with your company to individuals who could be a great asset to your organization. And so as we think about mentoring, it's important to think about the process. And certainly as individuals start to think about how they find their mentor, it's really important to start with, what do you want to accomplish? What's your goal in having a mentor? Is this a long-term relationship that you're looking to build? Is there a specific problem or situation you're looking to navigate? Are you trying to figure out how to be a better leader within your organization? Do you have your eye on post-graduation and you're looking for career advice from somebody who can help prepare you for that next step? Do you want advice on how to apply for law school? So understanding what your goals are is going to be crucial in finding the right mentor. It's not just about proximity, it's about finding that fit and that skill set that is going to allow you to maximize the type of relationship that you're looking to have. And that's important in what you're looking for in a mentor. Are you looking for an individual who can help hold you accountable? Are you looking for an individual that can really pull out the best in you? So being mindful of what you need as a person, what you're looking for in a mentor, is going to be important in finding that right fit. Being mindful about how you craft that outreach is also an important part of the process. It can vary from situation to situation. Perhaps you've worked with this individual for a long time and you feel very comfortable in reaching out and saying, hey, I'm looking for an opportunity that is going to really be impactful for me. Are you interested in helping mentor me? That's very different than, I'm an associate member who just joined the organization and I'm really looking to connect with somebody. I've never met this person before. Reaching out and asking them to be my mentor might feel a little bit more challenging or a little bit more daunting. Again, not to jump ahead of ourselves, but I think our mentorship network, we'll talk a little bit about how that platform provides some really great ways to help in that outreach to potential mentors. What are your expectations? And I think this is an important conversation to have both from a mentor and the mentee perspective. Being intentional about that outreach and having those conversations about what you expect of one another in this process is important. Um, from a mentor perspective, everybody's time is valuable, but you might be saying, I've got this window of time. I expect individuals to be prompt. I want them to be. It's important to me that they keep our appointments. Great. That is important to know ahead of time. If you are a student whose schedule is very flexible and you maybe have trouble keeping appointments, great. Maybe this is something that you want to have up front, because if you don't have those conversations ahead of time, it can be really damaging when those expectations aren't met on either side. And this, to maximize the impact of mentoring relationships, it's really important that both individuals are invested and on the same page when it comes to what comes next in this relationship. Be prepared for that conversation. If you, once you've set up that first conversation and you're looking to begin this engaging opportunity, do you know what you want to cover? Are you prepared for that conversation? Are there specific things that you want to make sure are addressed? Being prepared for those types of things is very important. Again, if you've talked about, hey, I'd really like some insights on going over my resume. If you come to that meeting and you haven't shared that resume or didn't bring it with you, you've just wasted everybody's time. So being mindful about how you set yourself up for success in those early meetings is going to be an important part of the process. And identify what comes next. Great, you've had this conversation, you feel a connection, you really want to continue the mentoring relationship. That's fantastic. Where do you go from here? And so taking the time to have those conversations about what are you looking for in the long term, and what comes next from these conversations is going to be important in making sure that the relationship continues to grow and evolve and doesn't stay stagnant. And above all, I'm a big believer in saying thank you. I think being able to share our gratitude and appreciation is important across the board, regardless of the situation we're in. But I think especially in a mentoring relationship, this is an important part of the process. It takes time for both individuals. Individuals are sharing their experience and expertise, and perhaps are going out of their way to share an opportunity or put you in touch with somebody in their network. They are vouching. You are sharing your credibility with another person. And so taking the time to be grateful and sharing that appreciation for those efforts is a great way to share and be honest about what you appreciate in that connection, but also ensures for that positive follow-up, right? If I feel appreciated, if I feel like this has been a worthwhile use of my time, I will continue to give it. And so I think that is an important part, not only from a mentor or mentee relationship, but is also good when we think about mentoring from an alumni engagement standpoint. We have a tremendous wealth of experience with our alumni, uh, many of whom maybe haven't felt connected or engaged to their chapter in a long time. If you have those conversations and continue to reach out and share that appreciation, that alumnus is much more likely to say yes to that next opportunity. They're much more likely to show up when asked to an event or a program, because everybody likes to feel appreciated. And so I think that is an important part of the mentoring relationship that we take time for, that can often go overlooked, but can make a world of difference for future conversations and future opportunities. And so as we've talked about the benefits of membership, I'm very excited that we're going to talk a little bit today about the actual Delta Chi Mentoring Network. For those of you that are unfamiliar with this platform, this was launched about a year ago, and is an effort of the fraternity to really find a way to expand that network that we have and that we're so proud of. We know the tremendous value that exists in our alumni. We know that our undergraduate members will be improved for the better when they can have those meaningful relationships and conversations. But how do we help connect it? How do we help our members find a way to engage with others? How do we provide value for everybody? And again, a lot of what we've talked about thus far is the idea of collegiate member and alumni engaging and learning from one another. This is not the only way a mentoring relationship exists. This mentorship network that is available to alumni to also mentor and learn from other alumni. Perhaps I'm an alumnus who is looking to change career fields or looking to move up the ladder, or I've moved and am looking to expand my network. The Delta Chi Mentorship Network is a great way for me to continue my own development. As members of this fraternity, those values that we talk about, like the acquisition of a sound education, doesn't end at graduation. We continue to learn and grow, and the mentorship network is a great way for me to share that expertise, but also learn from fellow Delta Chi's. And I think that is a really unique part of this opportunity, is that it's not only a collegiate benefit. This really has a lot of great information and is a wealth of opportunity for alumni across the board, regardless of where you're at, your location, your expertise, your time as an alumnus. Again, for our young alumni, this is a great opportunity for them as well. So we're very excited about this partnership with Firsthand and what this opportunity is going to mean for our members moving forward. And so with that, I'd love to turn things over to Tawny to talk about the platform and introduce herself. So take it away. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Alex. Thank you for having me here today. I'm really excited to kind of give you guys a walkthrough of the Delta Chi Mentorship Network. Just to introduce myself, I'm the Director of Customer Success at Firsthand. So I work with organizations, fraternities such as Delta Chi, schools and universities, and essentially help them to set up these mentoring networks for their alumni, their current students, etc. Like Alex was saying, anyone can join, and they can serve as someone who gives advice, who receives advice, or they can actually be both. So it has a lot of flexibility, and there's a lot of value that everyone can get, regardless of what they're looking for and the role that they're hoping to play. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and screen share with you guys so that I can give you a quick walkthrough. So as Alex was saying, the platform, it allows people to register and helps connect people and facilitate those connections that maybe, depending on geography, wouldn't have happened outside of this network. And then the other great thing with the network itself, the meetings can happen on this platform. So there's a virtual meeting tool within the platform. So it doesn't matter where you are, you can make those connections. And additionally, there are some other tools such as, the job board and resources that Alex was mentioning as well. So with that, I'd love to kind of show you guys how a mentee can sign up for this platform. It's very, very simple for them to sign up and log on and then start meeting people and making meeting requests right away. So what we're looking at here, this is the landing page for the platform. So this is, something that Alex and I put together about a year ago, just kind of setting this up and giving it the Delta Chi look and branding. But if someone is coming here and they want to register to be a mentee, so to get advice, it's just very simple. They click the link right here, and then that's going to take them through the registration process if they just click register. So they'll accept the terms and conditions, and then just go ahead and start building their account. The nice thing that we have here is we actually have an integration with LinkedIn. So if you have a LinkedIn account, you can go ahead here and start typing in your LinkedIn info, and it will just have you authenticate, and you can actually bring in the majority of the information that's required for registration. So it allows the process to go much quicker because most of the fields just get pre-populated for you. So I am going to register with LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn account, or if you don't want to connect your LinkedIn account, that's fine. You probably noticed on the prior page, there's an option you can click if you'd like to just type everything in yourself. So I have my LinkedIn account, my demo account here. So it's filled in my first and last name, all of the information that's coming in from LinkedIn. If I do want to edit it, I still have that opportunity. So these are all fields that can be modified. So I've got my name in there. So I'll just click the arrows to keep going. It's going to pull in my LinkedIn email address. I also have the option of putting in a phone number, which is actually great because, especially for the collegiate members, I know a lot of college kids, maybe they're not checking email as much, but if they put in their phone number and they opt into text messages, what we do is if they have a meeting upcoming or a meeting that's been confirmed, we'll send them a text message just to let them know that that's all set. We don't show phone numbers anywhere. They're just, private for those reminders, but definitely a good option for students to opt into. So then next, I'm just setting up a password. And it's going to pull in my information, my location information from LinkedIn. Again, if this needs to be updated, can be edited from here. Pulls in your LinkedIn photo. If you don't want to use it, you can click right here and just, upload a different photo from your device if you click the plus, or you can skip this step if you do prefer. And then so the next few questions that it's going to ask here have to do with chapter membership. And this is just super important because one of the ways that we actually match people on the platform, and we'll get into this a little bit more once we get into the dashboard, but once you fill out all of your information and you've registered, it's going to match you with people based on the algorithm. So things like common chapter membership, common group membership, those are the things that we're going to use to connect people in addition to their career goals. So any kind of areas of commonality are going to lead to matches being made. So if I just click this, I can choose my chapter and then keep going. And then so here, like I was mentioning, there are groups that you can opt into. So these are some groups that have been set up by Alex. So I can opt into those, can opt into associations as well.
And so for folks that are our members, the associations are set up as our alumni chapters. So these are opportunities that are, if you are part of an alumni chapter, this is another way that you can help identify yourself.
Thanks. So once you select those, then you can click the arrow to keep going. If you speak any additional languages, you can add them here. That's also something that we use to match people up. And then after that, you're going to get into a more detailed section where it's going to ask about your career goals, and that's going to be used to help match you with mentors. So if I click here, first thing it's going to ask me is just kind of overall, what's the number one thing that I could really use help with? So what's the number one thing that I'm looking for in a mentor or an advisor? So from this list, I can choose one of these options. And based on whatever option I choose here, it's going to give me, as you can see, a longer list of things that are kind of drilled down a little bit more, subcategories underneath of this kind of overarching topic area. So I can choose up to 3 options on this page. So whether that's, for job searching, working on my resume, or, looking at my LinkedIn profile, I can choose up to 3. And the nice thing here, and you'll see that this is an option on all the questions that we'll see, is that we realize that some college students or, even some college graduates are still kind of trying to figure out what career path they want to go into, what job is right for them. So we always have these options here that are a little bit more open-ended because we realize that a lot of these are just kind of conversations where people are trying to find a path or a way. So you'll see that throughout the platform. And so once I've selected my 3 here, then it's going to get even more detailed. So it's going to ask me things like, where could I see myself living, the companies I would like to work for potentially, the roles or the industries that I'd like to work in. And with all of these next few questions here, we also get a little bit of data from the platform. So it's asking, in 5 years, I could see myself living in, and then I can put in, some different cities here. But at the same time, it's showing me that among the advisors on the network, the top 3 cities by breakdown are Washington, D.C., Boston, and Chicago. So that's just kind of a nice indicator that if I'm choosing Boston, there's probably a good number of advisors that have connections in Boston. So for these, you can choose up to 10. There's flexibility there. And then, so like I was saying, it's going to ask about industries. The same thing here. You can choose up to 10 industries. Let me see our top ones here. for employers as well. So we've got top employers, and then maybe I'm not, quite set on a specific employer. Again, I can click the I'm really not sure option just to kind of leave that more open-ended. So same last thing here for roles. I can select all the roles that I may be interested in. And then after that, I get to a confirmation page. So this you can ignore. This is pulling in from my LinkedIn, but it's just kind of pulling all the data that I entered as I was registering and having me confirm it. If anything here is incorrect, you can click back and go ahead and correct it. But the nice thing about this registration process is that we've designed it so that we're really trying to encourage people to book their first meeting upon registration. So once they go through that, they click Meet My Advisors. And so what's going to happen next is it's going to show us about 10 different advisors, based off of the career goals and interests that I listed that would be good matches for me. So you can see we have Nicholas here. He's the top match with a 90% match score. And we can see a little blurb here with his profile information. So these are just some highlights here on the left. We can also review, it looks like he's put in a kind of a personal statement into his headlines, so we can review what he's added here. And then we get to look at his work history, his education, and just kind of see if he is someone that we'd be interested in talking with. He's not the only option that we see. So if we click through to the arrows here, we'll see a few different people. We've got Alec and Edwin here. And so we can kind of scroll through and see who's the best person for us to talk to right now. So if we choose Edwin, there's a little button here you can click to go ahead and start requesting your first meeting with Edwin. So I'm going to click that. And then so this brings up a scheduling module. And so when mentors register to be part of the platform, they have the option of putting in their preferred times. So basically they can say, I'm generally available weekday evenings. Those times typically work for me. And additionally, they can also sync their calendar. So if they have a work calendar, they want to sync it up with the platform. What happens is the platform will block off times when they have meetings and they're just not available. So what I can do here, I can click into a day and see the times that he has available. So go ahead and select one. And if you select 2 times here, it just has you select 3. So go through and select 3. Once I've selected my 3 times, it brings me to the sample message. So the last thing we want to happen is for mentees to register, get to the point where they're trying to book a meeting with someone and then they get kind of stuck and they don't know what to say with that meeting request. So what this does is it kind of gives them a templated message based off of the information that they entered when they were registering. So I said that I was part of ABT Volunteers. So, there's a connection there. It kind of pulls that into this message. So this is all built with natural language processing and kind of brings in all of that information that I've entered. At the same time.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Sure.
The ABT Volunteers, I'm involved with the chapter on the ABT and I'm involved with the alumni chapter. Mm-hmm. Is there a way to enter multiple ways that I'm involved with the fraternity?
So if you wanted to edit this and say, all the ways that you're involved with ABT? Yeah. So this is editable. So you can go ahead and, say,
okay. Oh, I see.
I'm also involved in
Gotcha.
XYZ or, whatever that may be. So this gives them a basis to start with, at least, so they don't feel stuck or intimidated. But at the same time, this is editable. They can make it their own. They don't have to go with all the different language that we have here. And if they'd like to attach a file, so say, in this example, they'd like to do a resume or CV critique, they can go ahead and attach their file so that the advisor has that in advance and they can start to review it. So once they fill this out, they would just click send request. When that happens, the mentor receives an email with the request. The email itself, it has the body, in the body of the email, it has this message. and it shows the 3 times that were selected. So very simple for the mentor. They actually don't even have to log into their account to accept the request. They just click on the time from their email, gets confirmed. The mentee gets a message back saying that the time has been confirmed. It tells them the time. So once that happens, it's, everything is set up. I'm going to click back here because since Edwin is a real mentor on your platform, I don't want to send him a message. So I'm just going to click back here and click this Find My Advisor Later button so that I can go right into my account dashboard. So this is a little overview of what to expect. We try to call out to the mentees that all of the mentors that are on this platform are people that have pre-volunteered to help you. So we try to, again, limit the amount of intimidation that they might feel, because these are people that have already signed up. They've given us an overview of their schedule, so we know exactly when they want to be available for these meetings. And again, just some tips on keeping their profile up to date and booking their consultations. So once we do that, this is going to automatically place me into the user dashboard. So this is similar for, if the user is a mentee or a mentor, they'll have access to this dashboard here. They can explore different advice topics. If they click on these links here, it just kind of takes them into the advisor search page, which we'll talk about in a second, but filters it down to the exploration topics that were shown at the top. So if we click on each of these, we can go search for academic advice or career advice, etc. But in this portion, they will see a list of upcoming meetings. So once they've booked a meeting, it will show up here. They'll see the date, the time, a little icon with the person's name and picture. And at the time of the meeting, they can just click on that icon and it takes them into a virtual meeting room. And that is basically, we have something that's very Zoom-like that's integrated into the platform. It looks a little bit like this, just to kind of give you guys a sense of it, but the users can speak via computer audio. They can use computer audio and video if they prefer to do that. And then they can also, just similar to the way Zoom has it, where you can call in with your phone. If you want to dial into a dial-in number, you can do that as well. Also leading up to the meeting, they have a little chat section here that's always available even before the actual meeting starts. So if they want to ask questions, maybe the mentor has a few clarifying questions on what the mentee wants to cover, they can always ask them and just make sure that they get prepared for the meeting. But going back here, so again, on the user dashboard, what we'll see is that each mentee, they're going to have a section here with matches. So similar to kind of what we saw when we were just finishing up registration and clicking through, but each mentee has a section in their account with their matches, and these are all people that have been suggested to them based off of the things that they said that they were interested in during registration. And so if you click on one of these users here, this is going to bring you to their full profile page. So this was, we saw kind of that card when we were registering with the mini version of their profile, but this is the full profile here for Nicholas. And I can review a lot of information about him. So his work history, his education. I can also see if he's met with advisees in the past and they've left reviews for him. I can kind of see what that experience was like and use that to determine if he's someone I'd like to meet with. Groups show up here as well, their chapter memberships, so I can get that info also. And then, so when mentors register, they get to a point where we actually ask them which advice topics they'd like to opt into. So there's a long list of different things that are available on the platform. And each individual mentor, they can basically, based off of their expertise, their comfort level, they can figure out which ones they want to opt into. So Nicholas here, he's opted into 10, which is great. Not everyone opts into quite that many, but these are all things that he's willing to speak with mentees about. So But with that, there's flexibility. So if a mentor signs up and they say, they'd like to be available for career conversations, those are a bit more general and easy to prepare for. Maybe they prefer that over doing an actual, resume editing session or a mock interview. So these are all the things that he's opted into. And so myself as a mentee, if I come to his page, we also have this booking module on the right here. So this is kind of similar to what we looked at when we were just finishing our registration. But we can click here and select a topic. So if I'd like to do a mock interview with him, I can select that. And then again, it's going to show me his available times. So I can see, these are the times that he has made available for booking. I can suggest, again, 3 options for him. And, when I submit this, again, he'll get the email. He'll be able to choose which time works for him. Also, if, let's say, all 3 of these times no longer work for him, a mentor, when they receive a request, they can also reply back to the mentee and say, hey, none of these times work, but here are three alternate times that I'd like to suggest to you. So we just try to make the scheduling very, very seamless. So that's how that would work. Additionally, and you may have noticed this as I started to scroll down on this dashboard page, there's also a resources section. So this is going back to what Alex was mentioning when he was speaking earlier. It's accessible here, but also if we click the nav bar link at the top, basically Firsthand has almost 200 career webinars that we've produced over the years on a variety of different topics. Some of them are more general, just kind of like preparing for an interview, what to wear for an interview, etiquette, things like that. But some of them are more focused on specific career areas. So you can see here, there are different filters. You can filter by industries and employers and all these different advice topics to try to find something that's suitable to help you learn more about whatever it is that you're interested in. So let's say job search is top of mind for you right now. You would just select that and it's going to give you some job search related videos. Also, if you watch some of these videos and there are some that you'd like to refer back to, there's this little tool here at the top left of each video where you can kind of flag it, so save it for later, and then it shows up in your library. So now these are listed in my library, but you have thumbnails for each video, kind of a brief overview of what they cover. But if you click into each individual video, it's going to bring up the video, the full overview, and additionally, it will suggest some other videos for you in the up next section. Also, actually going back for a second, similar to the resources search, if let's say you register as a mentee and you go through, you put in all of your different career interests, but maybe as time goes on, you're curious about some other career paths that weren't part of the options that you selected when you were registering. So you also have access to this advisor search page where you can come in here and it's going to show you your top matches by default. But you can also search. So you can search by keyword. So if there's maybe a particular company or a job title or even a person's name who you know should be in the system, you can search by keyword. And then similar to the recorded webinars, you can also filter by different advice topics. So going back to the advice topics that we were looking at when we were booking a mentor, you can also filter by people who have opted into those advice topics by checking these off. In addition to that, you can also filter by academic advice topics, opportunities. So, people who are open to job shadowing or volunteer work, you can identify those people using these filters as well. And then even things like I was saying earlier, we match people based off of common group membership. You can also just come to this section and find people who are in ABT volunteers or whatever groups I selected as I was registering. And yeah, there's quite a few different filters here. We have them for employers. By default, it's going to give us the top employers in the advisor pool, but we can filter it by additional employers. So, you know, if there's someone else, some other companies, we can start typing them in and find them. And locations, industry interests, schools they have attended, all of that data can be filtered by. And then same thing from here, if there's someone that we identify that we want to speak with, we just click on their profile and review it and take things from there. So then the last item is the job board. So also advisors or mentors, they're able to post jobs. So if they have jobs at their companies and they'd like to post them to the platform, that's something that they can do. And this job board is also pulling in jobs from other firsthand platforms because we have a tool where people can choose to post jobs only on their own platform or across all of Firsthand's partners. So there's a lot of different jobs here. These are pulling in from other platforms in addition to the Delta Chi platform. So users can come here, they can search for jobs by keyword or, you know, using all these different filters. Maybe they're looking for an internship specifically if they're currently a student. So these can all be filtered to help them identify a job they may be interested in. And then these all link out to the actual application page. So if a mentor is adding a new job, they're going to be prompted to put in the application link for that job. And then kind of in addition to that, users can always edit their profiles. So if we click on our name here at the top, if I ever wanted to go back and change any of the info that I put in, it's very simple to just go here and edit my profile and change all of my data. Maybe change my career goals if things have changed on my end, change my groups, etc. So that's all pretty simple. You can review your profile if you click on this page here. And another thing that users can do is actually message each other. So let's say I find an advisor or mentor and I think maybe they could help me with what I'm interested in and the career path that I'd like to go down, but I'm not quite sure. So maybe I actually want to message them first. So before I book a meeting with them, I can always click on their profile, click here, and send them a message. And so that you just type it in here at the bottom. The user will get a notification email letting them know that you've sent them a message. So if they're not logged into their account at that current moment, they'll just get an email with the text of your message in the body of that email. And they can reply to the email itself to send you a reply back without logging into their account. And then all of those messages just get stored in the message center. Lastly, they can review their meetings. Any kind of upcoming or previous meetings will show in the meetings section. Any people that they've met with will show in the people section. But this is useful because going back to what we saw when we were looking at that one advisor's page and he had a review from someone, if you kind of look at your meeting history, you can review the comments that people have left for you. So as long as you leave feedback for someone you've met with, you will also be able to see the feedback that they've left for you. So that's just really helpful, you know, even for Alex to be able to see the comments that are coming in, but for the users themselves to get that feedback and then refer back to it if they want to at a later date. So that would all be in this section as well. So I think that's about it. You know, we're kind of starting to run short on time here. Alex, is there anything else you think would be helpful to share with everyone?
Sure, just a quick one. I actually had an alumnus reach out to me today asking about how they would post a job they had available from their company.
Yeah, so I'm logged into a mentees account right now, but and I can follow up and maybe send you a screenshot. But if you're a mentor, you'll have a section here that says how I can help. You click on that, and then there's a section for job posts, and then it just asks you the basic information. So the title, the company, the link, etc.
Perfect. Does anyone have any questions about the platform, how to use it, connections? Yeah, go for it, Steve.
Just curious, how long has this been rolled out and how many Delta Chi's are in it right now?
So we did a soft launch to start to build up the alumni pieces late last fall. It went really live with our students in the spring in the midst of
Okay.
COVID and all those pieces. And so for our alumni mentors, I should have taken a look at this morning, but I know we're over 100 alumni that have signed up to be mentors on the platform.
But it was not all the tens of thousands that haven't already been uploaded into this platform.
No, so alumni should have received an invitation last spring, but this was also a system where we all, again, wanting it to be like any of our volunteer positions, we didn't automatically make anyone a volunteer or a mentor. They have to sign up to say yes. So there's been, the initial invites went out last fall, but we're continuing to promote the opportunity on social media, through some of our in-person events, and just word of mouth with our students. So we're committed to continuing to roll out with alumni and encouraging them as a way to participate. Again, as I mentioned, with an alumnus signed up this morning because they got the email about facilitation and was like, "Hey, I can't do this. This isn't my skill set, but is there any way I can talk to somebody about like their career?" And I was like, perfect timing. Yes, you can get involved in the mentorship network. So we're continuing to promote and roll out because we know that there is a huge amount of potential for our alumni to be involved. And I'll be honest, when we first rolled this out, I was expecting to see a lot of our regular faces, right? Those individuals who continue to show up and volunteer anytime they have a chance. And I am forever grateful to those individuals. But there were a ton of names before that I had never seen. Folks were like, yeah, I'm not near a group, or I don't have, hours to give, but I can set aside time for this. So it's been really exciting to see the number of folks who have stepped up to say, yeah, I want to be a part of something like this. So we definitely have a lot of opportunities for growth, both from an undergraduate as well as alumni side. And we're really excited to see how it rolls out and our members start to use the platform.
How about traffic? Has it been pretty?
So when we had the initial rollout in the spring, it was that high level, like, oh, this is something new, which was great. But then between COVID and your typical summer lull, it hasn't been as much. But that's also our goal for as this fall semester gets started up again, as a really unique way to leverage our members. Both, I think there's a variety of ways that we want to talk about it. Certainly, as students are not having the opportunity to have face-to-face meetings or events, this platform is a fantastic way to, learn from others, to expand their network. It's a great way to connect with alumni and host those connections. It's also great for those students who are really nervous about what does the job market look like. Great, you can start to prepare yourself for that search right now. And the same is true for alumni who are, experiencing a lot of turmoil right now in the economy, and they might be looking for a new opportunity, or, again, for that chance to shift careers. This is a way that Delta Chi's can help one another. This is a way that we can leverage that network. So I think there's a lot of ways we're going to continue to market it and encourage the usage to be a much more common piece, rather than just that initial, like, oh, this is new and fancy. And I think it's something a lot of fraternal organizations struggle with, but and Delta Chi is no different, where this is not something we've always done before. This is not something that people are used to. And so it's trying to be mindful of how we build it into the conversation so that it becomes something our members are more familiar with, and it becomes something that they do start to think about when they think of leadership development or professional networking, that this is a tool that they can access on a regular basis.
Alex, this is Tim. how is this being marketed to the alumni? Because I don't recall seeing much of anything actually from the spring when it comes to emails. But how are we going to continue to get this out to alumni?
That's a great question. And so some of the things that I've talked with our team about, the emails is always going to be a part of it, because we know that for some folks that's their primary focus. That's how they get their information. But how do we diversify that and try and get it in front of as many people as possible? So the email piece is going to continue to be a focal point. We want to continue to make those connections with our established alumni volunteers, knowing that if you're a part of an ABT or a housing corps or connected to your organization, that this is something that they can have those conversations with their fellow alumni about. Because again, it's one thing when you hear it from IHQ or things like that, but if a fellow alumnus tells you, hey, I was a part of this network and I think you'd be great for it, alumni are I think even more willing to give that first piece a shot. We're going to continue to promote it at our events and our social media pages. We're also continuing to encourage this as a way for our E's and alumni chairs to really be proactive in sharing this as part of their communication, knowing that again, our alumni get their information from a variety of places, and our E's are a fantastic source of that when it's done right. And so empowering our E's to make the Delta Chi network, mentorship network, a part of their communication with alumni is another way to help spread the word and create that buy-in. Because again, we know that connection at the local level and their institution is always going to be an important part for our members. So how do we help empower those E's to spread that message as well? Alumni chapters, again, we know that those associations and groups can be a tremendous resource for our alumni. So those are a few of the different things that we've talked about in our continued rollout to try and make it as prominent as possible to encourage the usage from our alumni, and we're always open to suggestions. We're starting to pull together some testimonials from people who have used it to help promote it as well. We were hoping to have one of our student users to the platform join us today, but he had a last minute class thing come up, so he couldn't join us. But just trying to spread that message across as many different platforms as possible to get it in front of alumni. So I realized, Tim, that was a lot of different pieces, but we're always open to suggestions as well. So if there's things that people would like to see from us or that they feel would be useful ways to get the information across, we're always happy to hear it.
Yeah, something that we could share out with our own alumni networks, I think would be beneficial.
Definitely, yeah, and I'm hoping there it's going up. Some of the resources also that we're creating around the mentorship network, so not just the link itself, but we've created a couple of flyers and one-pagers and resources to help educate folks as well, to make sharing things easy. So that's a great point, and we can definitely work on that.
That was exactly what I was going to ask you, Alex. You could do like a one page with the link that we could read and re-up it and send it from us, and so it looks like it's coming from us, but then it has the right information, right branding, and all that information. This would be great to be able to handle that.
We can definitely work on that. Definitely. Thank you. Well, and feel free if there's any other questions. I know we're kind of right up on time. Again, we're really excited about the Delta Chi Mentorship Network. We think it's going to provide access to a broad range of our alumni in a way that it's never happened before. It's designed to give and support a variety of interests and experiences. There's a lot of different ways that you can seek mentoring opportunities, and of course the job board and resources. We're very eager to see how it can have a positive impact for our members and find another way for our alumni to stay involved and connected. Again, I'll be honest, I started working with the Mentorship Network when my role was specifically alumni engagement. And so I certainly see a tremendous amount of value in finding another way for our alumni to give back. And we're very eager to see how we can continue to support it.
Real quick, just wanted to make sure, maybe Tawny might be able to answer this. Is it also good, with using with our Canadian brothers that are in Windsor and Alberta? Because, I do a lot. I was part of that group that helped a lot of the guys in the Windsor chapter and area stuff. So I want to make sure that it was cross.
Yes.
For that kind of
we work with partners all over the globe. We have clients in Europe. We have clients in Australia, literally globally.
All right.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point and a great reminder for folks is regardless of where I am on the globe, I have the opportunity to stay connected through the platform. And so that's one thing I'm really excited about. Any other questions before we wrap up? All right. Well, again, a huge thank you to everyone for taking the time to be here today. Big thank you to Tawny and for the whole team at First Hand for helping us build out this platform and this opportunity. We're really thankful for the partnership and the support that they're providing as we roll this forward. And again, to all of you for not only taking the time to join us today, but for folks who are continuing to mentor and invest in the current and future leaders of Delta Chi and our organization. So thank you all very much. We hope you have a fantastic day. And please don't hesitate. I'll throw, as we wrap up, I'll throw my contact information up. If anybody has any questions, thoughts, concerns, ideas, we're always happy to talk. Feel free to reach out to me at any time. So thank you all very much and have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Alex.
Tawny.
Thanks, Tawny.